Hey guys, BD here. It's a new year and with it comes a new basic bodice tutorial. So today's video is the basic bodice block tutorial. Some of you might remember I made one a few years ago. It was the very first video on this channel. This is just a different way that I've been making them more recently. It doesn't make that last video incorrect, it just means starting off from this video, any pattern manipulation tutorials I post up will be using this basic bodice block as the foundation. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, we can get started. Okay, so first up, I'll show you guys the measurements we'll need as well as how to take them. Secondly, I'll show you guys the formulas as well as how to apply them to the measurements that you've just taken. Thirdly, I'll show you the equipment and materials we'll be needing to actually make the basic bodice block. And lastly, I'll show you how to actually make the basic bodice block. Okay, so for the measurements. First measurement we're going to be taking is your bust width measurement. And that is, when you get the measuring tape, breathe out a couple of times to make sure you've got it nice and snug but not too snug so it actually fits you around your nipple point, and it should just like sit fairly roundabout around your back. That's your that's your bust width measurement. Now for your waist width measurement, which is literally just finding the smallest part around your body, torso, and putting your measuring tape around there. And that's your waist width measurement. For your high hip measurement, it's where you have your hip bones, and this is where the previous pattern block stopped, the basic bodice block stopped. So just around your hip bones, and that's your high hip measurement. For your low hip measurement, which is the one we should have done but I didn't do for some reason, or I wasn't aware of it at the point anyway, at the time, is around your butt, so the widest part of your butt. Let me just jiggle this around. I'll turn around so you can see what it looks like on the other side once I have it flat and working. So it should just go around the middle of the widest part of your butt, and that's your low hip measurement. Next we're going to do the shoulder length. So I'll drop from the back, where your spine sort of is between your back and your neck, you know, that little bony part. You're going to keep the edge of the measuring tape there and find your shoulder bone, and that will be your shoulder length measurement. Now for your waist length measurement, keeping the end against that bony part, you're going to go down to where you measured your waist width. That point becomes your waist length. Same thing for your high hip, wherever your hip bones are, wherever you did the measurement for your high hip width, your measuring tape will take you down to the high hip length. And then further down, midway through your butt, widest part of your butt, that's your low hip length. I'm pretty sure that's all you need for this tutorial. For equipment and materials, we're going to need pattern making cardboard, a French curve, any long ruler. I've got a grading ruler here, but any long ruler really works, a pair of scissors and a pencil. I've got a right angle ruler on screen at the moment, that's this big one here. I use that to help even out the edges of the cardboard. If you don't have one, it's not a big deal, but I've got it on screen because I do use it in this video. Okay, so first I'm just going to use this right angle ruler to help me square off a border just slightly around the edges, so I'm not working off the edges. So I don't know if you can actually see the border I've made in the video, but you'll see what I mean by so I'm not working off the edges. I'm going to use a Sharpie just so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so what we're going to do first is along this drawn line, we're going to plot and mark the neck hole across and the shoulder width. Don't know if you can see those little dots, but and then we're going to go along the length and mark our neck hole down. They're going to mark our armhole measurement, and we're going to mark our waist, where is it? Waist length measurement. High hip length measurement and high and low hip length measurement. And then from this edge again, we're going to measure and mark across certain points. So we're first going to measure and mark the neck hole across measurement, and then we're going to measure and mark the bust width, waist width, high hip width and low hip width. On the bust width, you're also going to measure and mark where the shoulder width should sit. Now from the width edge of the cardboard, you're going to just connect the dots there and there. You're then going to connect those points.
Like so.
That's the bottom part of the bodice done. Now for the top part. On this line here, which represents the armhole length, we're going to measure from that top point 1.3 centimeters. And then from the bottom, so from that corner, you're going to measure up 2.5 centimeters. From the neck hole across point to that point you've made on the shoulder, we're going to draw a diagonal slope. And now using the French curve, we're going to draw a gradual curve to make the armhole. And now for the neck hole, you're going to use the French curve again to draw a gradual curve. Now we're going to cut along this path. And there you have it, your front pattern. I'm just going to label it. Okay, so for now for the back, I'm pretty much going to repeat the process. Again, across this edge, we'll have it as the width. I'll measure and mark the neck hole across as well as the shoulder width. Okay, there's a tiny difference with the back when we measure and mark down the length. The first measurement you're going to put down, instead of the neck hole down measurement, it's going to be around 5 centimeters.
So 5 centimeter mark.
So at 5 centimeters I've made a mark instead of the neck hole down measurement. I'm now going to measure and mark the armhole length measurement, the waist length measurement, the high hip length measurement, as well as the low hip length measurement. So the neck hole down measurement is now 5 centimeters down from the top. The armhole length measurement, the waist length, high hip length, and low hip length. And now at these points, I'm going to be measuring and marking across the width. Starting from the neck hole down measurement, I'm going to measure across and mark the neck hole across measurement. At this point, it's going to be the bust width measurement, and I'll plot down the shoulder width measurement, waist width measurement, high hip width measurement, and low hip width measurement. And now I'm going to connect these points. Nice. Okay. So now we're done with the bottom part of the back of the bodice. Now we're going to work on the top. Okay, so now like we did for the front, we're going to connect those 2 points. And along that line, go down 1.3 centimeters and come up 2.5 centimeters. You're going to connect that point, which is the neck hole across measurement, to that 1.3 centimeters down and create a diagonal slope. Now from that point, which is the neck hole across measurement, you're going to measure and mark down your neck hole down measurement, which is now 5 centimeters. And you're going to connect that point to there. So we'll work on the armhole first. You're going to need your front pattern piece, and you're going to lay it on top of the back pattern piece. You want these lines to sort of match up. Using a pencil, you're just going to trace the curve. From that point here, you're going to measure up 2 centimeters. Just make a mark. Now using the French curve, you're going to bring up the curve a little bit and make a new curve. Okay, so the camera stopped randomly for some unknown reason. I'm not sure if it actually captured what I said last and what I did last. But so from that line that we traced out, I measured up 2 centimeters and then redrew the curve using the French curve. And just before we're done, we now just have to make a curve for the back neck hole using the French curve. And now we're going to cut out the pattern block. And there you have the back pattern. I'm just going to label the back. And there you have your back and front basic bodice blocks. And that's how you make a basic bodice block. As for the sleeve, I use the same method as I used in the video I had posted up a few years ago, the basic sleeve tutorial. I'll have a link to that in the description box below. And like I said before, this video doesn't make the previous basic bodice block tutorial incorrect. It's just an updated way of how I am making them now. And all the upcoming videos that are pattern manipulation videos will be based off, or will be using this block that was made today as a foundation. That's right, it's my birthday on Monday, on the 22nd of January, and I was thinking about doing either uploading a video here or doing a YouTube or an Instagram live video, just answering some of your questions. They can be any type of questions. They can be both personal or fashion and pattern making related. If you have any of those questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below, or tweet them to me. I'll have my Twitter handle up here somewhere, somehow, and if I don't, they'll be in the description box below. Or you can DM me on Instagram or Facebook, and I'll have all the links to that either again here or in the description box below. Okay, so the second thing I need to talk to you guys about was my Patreon account. Any donations you guys make to my Patreon account helps me when it comes to making these videos. It'll help me afford the materials and equipment, as well as any future plans I have for this channel. Saying that, I mean, this is still in the woodworks, still figuring this one out, but I've got plans for like rewards for people who do become my patrons. I'm not going to tell you what they are yet because I'm still trying to figure it out and I guess iron out all the kinks, but yeah, saying all that, I'll leave you guys to attempt at making the basic bodice block. If you guys do make it, please send me photos on any of my social media links, accounts. That'll be everywhere here, this description box below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't done this already, please subscribe to this channel. I will be making more videos on pattern manipulation, pattern making, sewing, just ideas and designing and creating things. As for updates, you can follow me on any of my social media accounts. I update them regularly, as often as I can, whenever I'm doing something new. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Bye.